The worst natural hair tips you need to avoid. The first one is replacing your shampoo with co-wash. Now, I know we've all heard of this one, and the whole point of it is because apparently our hair will get too dry if we use shampoo on a regular basis. That is an absolute myth. If you have a good quality shampoo, that is not going to dry your hair out. It is going to actually do the reverse and add hydration into your hair. What we should be avoiding is using co-wash in replacement of a shampoo. A co-wash product is only something that we should use in between our wash days, maybe as a reset, or if you're on holiday, for example, and you maybe go swimming a lot and you want to use a co-wash instead of shampooing quite frequently, that is the place of a co-wash in your hair routine. It is not to replace a shampoo. Shampoos are fantastic products, and these really do help us, in particular natural hair girls, with getting moisture and nutrients into our hair from our products. And if we were to just replace that with a co-wash, our products would not have the same effects. The second worst bit of advice I have heard in the natural hair community is sulfates are bad for your hair. I am a little bit guilty of this one, because when I did start my natural hair journey, I was avoiding sulfates like the plague. I thought these were going to dry my hair out, my hair was going to break, it was going to snap off. But in actual fact, sulfates are not the worst thing. We do have sulfates that are a little bit more gentler than other sulfates, and you can use those ones. Or if you are someone who maybe does use a lot of products throughout the week, you use a lot of silicone, you are going to want to use those heavier, harsher sulfates. Now, yes, you may find that they dry your hair out a little bit more, but it is not necessarily bad for the hair. All you need to do is invest in a really good deep conditioner or a deep treatment and get the moisture back into your hair. Obviously, I don't recommend using sulfates more than once a week, unless you are somebody who really needs to do that. But for our type of hair, for afro hair, for curly hair that is a little bit more dry naturally, you want to just stick to those lighter, less harsh sulfates. The third worst natural hair advice that I've heard recently, and this is not even like outdated, this is probably like last year, not using a leave-in product. Now, I don't know where, I actually do know where this came from, but I'm not going to say where it came from. I'm not going to out them, but I don't know why this became a thing of just using like mousse after your wash and go, and this whole stigma of leave-ins and butters being like awful for natural hair. Like, they're really not. And I know a few times I have actually tried just to test it out, not using leave-in and just using a mousse, and I tell you now, my hair did not make it past day 2. Like, I had to re-up all of my products on day 2 because it just wasn't lasting. I won't be revisiting that. Some of us just have really dense, high porosity hair that cannot handle using only a mousse on wash day. You might as well tell me product free. Like, I might as well just go product free, and that doesn't work for me. Moving on to number 4, the fourth worst natural hair advice that I have heard. Grease is bad for your hair. Grease is absolutely not bad for your hair. We've used it for so long now in the black community, and it really does have its place within our hair routines, especially if you're somebody who does braids, you do twists, you do cornrows. You're going to want to use some grease on your hair, and it will help the ends, definitely. And I think where people get confused is we maybe just don't know how to use grease to our advantage. We maybe just apply it straight after our wash day and then leave it at that. But there's definitely a place for grease in our regimens. Check out my video on how to use grease the correct way. We're going to move on to number 5, which is curly cuts are best for your hair. If you have followed me for a while, you will see my constant struggle with curly haircuts and how I feel about them. And if you haven't seen them, there are a couple of videos on my channel that you can watch about my experiences. I have been for 2 curly haircuts in my time. Not that the actual experience was bad, because it wasn't bad. The first one was quite bad, but the second one was quite pleasant. Overall, curly haircuts, for those of us who do like to wear a silk press from time to time, don't wear. Your ends are uneven. The ends are all not targeted for a lot of us. And I just find that unless you wear your hair in its natural state all of the time and you don't ever intend to wear it out straight, then that's when you can get a curly haircut. But for some of us, I'm someone who loves to know my hair is even. It's all the same length, number one, and all of these split ends are gone. And the times that I have been for curly haircuts, the split ends have still been in my hair. They've not been targeted. It doesn't get every single hair. I feel like it just gets the shape. It doesn't actually get the split ends. And I've yet to find anyone, not that I'm searching, who can do a nice curly haircut for me. I'm not in any rush, to be honest, anyway. For those of you who like your curly haircuts, absolutely fine. Go for it, live your best life. But for me, it's not something that I like doing. And you absolutely don't need to follow that advice if that is something that you are considering. Do your research and know how your hair likes to be trimmed and cut best. Hope you've enjoyed this video on 5 of the worst natural hair tips and advice that you should not be following. Let me know any advice that you've seen in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.